All around the world, celebrities have been posting photos of themselves without makeup on in order to show their vibrational, cosmic enlightenedness, and we thank them for their sacrifice. It will never be forgotten. However, closer to home, many people are facing Zoom meetings as the new reality, and the prospect of staying in a bathrobe all day. Does it matter? Does it have any effect on our psyche? Stylist Janine Carley-James joined us a couple of weeks ago. She is a business etiquette coach and a stylist, and she has an interesting term for us, and this is quite a sexy one: embodied cognition. Let's find out.
Conducting work in our dressing gown may give us the comfort of a swaddled baby, but make no mistake, eventually it's going to lead to a vicious cycle of negativity, boredom and unproductivity. You see, I can't even say unproductivity. It's because I've got my dressing gown on. That's because we adopt the characteristics of the clothes we are wearing. So it is time to get up, get dressed and get going. If you're a person who feels that what you wear is completely superficial, I'm going to invite you to rethink that. Clothes can change your psyche and can set the tone for the day. There is something called enclothed cognition, and that is the ability of clothes, the power of clothes, to change the psychological state of the wearer. Now, if you're in an online meeting, what you wear is going to have a visual impact on everybody attending that meeting, but it also sends an internal message as well. In her book, Mind What You Wear, Professor Pine states that not only is it an aesthetic decision, it also impacts, and this is scientifically proved, your ability and your standard of work as well. So I believe it does matter what you wear. So what we're going to focus on specifically is how to present yourself in your best light for online meetings. The first point is clothing, how to dress for an online meeting. Truly, what works best in front of a camera is simple, clean lines and plain block colours. Now, I'm not saying dull block colours. They can be bright colours as well, but try and avoid patterns and stripes because it confuses the camera lens and it can come across as being distorting, and that's very distracting. Number two is makeup. Makeup in the professional TV world is applied on incredibly heavily because the cameras drain you of colour. So to counteract that, they layer it on. Even the guys get some treatment here with powdered noses and so forth. So don't be scared to wear a bold coloured lipstick, knowing that it's going to be diffused on the final image or the final view. Now here's a sneaky little trick, and I don't know why I'm whispering. If you use the app Zoom, there is a sneaky little button called Make Me Look Better, and that is in settings, meeting settings. We've got to use what we can, and let's face it, I don't care whether you're a man or a woman, there are simply some days we need to use that button. It's also worth thinking about camera angle and setup. If you can find a place to set up the camera every time you have an online meeting, it just works well in that you're controlling the background, you can control the lighting and the camera angle. So let's talk first of all camera angle. Trust me, I have tested this. Is the best possible angle is slightly downwards. It is far more flattering than any other angle. If you haven't got a camera tripod to enable you to do this, then just set up some books, an ornament, anything to prop your camera against so that you have a stable position to position your camera, which means your hands free, you can move naturally and you can move normally. So just consider the angle. What you don't want is an upwards angle, and I see this a lot on meetings where people have it positioned below the chin. And you really don't want to do that because you will double the amount of chins you have and your eyes have a bead-like quality to them, and we get a great view of the ceiling behind you as well. So try and avoid at all costs that upward angle. Downward angle slightly is definitely the way to go. It is by far the most flattering. Do consider the background of the camera as well. If you have a nice tidy office, that's great, but really work is going on and you may not have time to tidy up your office environment every time that you have an online meeting. So There are a few shortcuts to this. If you are a neat worker, well done you. But if you're not, then there are other options to use. Things like a virtual background. A lot of these apps have a virtual background option. You can use one of the backgrounds that they select for you. Yes, you can have the San Francisco Bridge behind you, or be at 50,000 feet in the air. Or alternatively, you can import one of your own images, which is quite nice, because I think quite a sneaky way around this is to take a picture of your office, like all set up, nice and neat, nice and tidy, like theatrically staged for perfection, and put that behind you as your virtual background. Failing that, another option is just to find a blank wall, maybe a metre by a metre, and sit next to that, and then just make sure that the camera angle really just focuses on a head and shoulders shot of you. Let's talk about lighting. Lighting makes an enormous difference. If you have a window with natural light, sitting in front of the window with the camera in between you will give you a nice even lighting effect. I have a window, as you can see, to the side of me, which means this side will be in shadow. To counteract that slightly, I have positioned a light to fill in that shadow and give a more natural light. And it does make a difference. Let me show you how that makes a difference. You see, it actually does make a difference. Let me turn the light back on. So you don't need professional lighting for that. Just grab a lamp, put the lamp behind the camera, pointing to you, and it will balance out the light with the window. Now, if you don't have a window and you're working in artificial light, just try and get 2 lamps, torches, anything you have around the house, and position them behind the camera, pointing to you, and that will give you an even tone as well. And then if you have other lamps, you can dot them around the room, like I have behind me, just for a little bit more atmosphere. I'm not trying to create a halo effect around me, although I see that is what it's doing. So that is lighting. It does make a difference. It helps just light you in a more professional way. Finally, noise. You can't really help external noise. Closing doors may help, closing windows may help, but I think most people are quite sympathetic to the fact that if you are holding an online meeting, external noise is going to happen. So don't stress too much about that, just minimise it as best as you can. Now, this might seem like a big palaver just to have an online meeting. Spending a bit of time setting this up and giving it a bit of due consideration means that you can attend your online meetings with confidence and be portrayed as the professional we know you are.
If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, and please do make a point of subscribing to Janine's channel in the link above.